What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus check update, the stimulus package update, what's going on here in our country and in Washington, D.C., money, investing, the stock market, pretty much everything you need to know about here on a daily basis as they're trying to close out this next stimulus package here in the final days. Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House of Representatives, says they are over 90% finished with the negotiations and could be finalizing a deal here at any moment. Yeah, we're going to be hearing from the president as they're trying to add in several different stimulus items, including an $800 stimulus debit card. We have advocacy groups pushing to add a fourth stimulus check in there for adults, in addition to the stimulus or monthly stimulus checks for children. We got a lot going on here, but while this is going on, there's battles to have things removed from the stimulus package, battles to have things added to the stimulus package, and of course we have Kirsten Sinema and Joe Manchin, dun, 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 you know their theme song, literally just battling to have things removed at every last straw. It kind of makes you wonder whether Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema are in favor of anything. And it actually makes you wonder, because Joe Manchin said the other day to Bernie Sanders right to his face that he would be happy with zero. Was literally what Joe Manchin said to Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders says this package needs to be $3.5 trillion. And Joe Manchin said, I'd be happy with zero for this package. So, one of the senators who was witnessed it said that he thinks that Joe Manchin would be perfectly fine sleeping at night without passing this package at all. So this is kind of the give and take here. And that's why I think that President Biden wants to just close out this stimulus package before it gets too heated, agree on what they can agree upon, pass that, then pass the physical infrastructure package, let things simmer down a little bit, and then come back around for another stimulus package after they pass basically stimulus package number 4, the physical infrastructure package, both those pass, and then come back around for another stimulus package afterwards as they let Joe Manchin cool down a little bit. So I'm going to give you the latest details of what's going on here. In fact, let's start with the president directly. What's going on with the Medicare provisions and this stimulus voucher or this stimulus debit card? Here is what he has to say.
One of the other things that Democrats are looking to do is to expand Medicare to include dental, vision, and hearing as well. Given all the negotiations that are going on, will all three of those still be covered?
That's a reach. And the reason why it's a reach, it's not this, I think it's a good idea. And it's not that costly in relative terms, especially if we allow Medicare to negotiate drug prices. But here's the thing. Mr. Manchin is opposed to that, as is, I think, Senator Sinema is as well.
Opposed to all of them?
Opposed to all three, because they don't want, he says he doesn't want to further burden Medicare so that, because it will run out of its ability to maintain itself in X number of years. One of the things we're able to do in the meantime is the most expensive of these things would be dental, okay? Now, we're talking about, don't have a deal on it yet, maybe getting an $800 voucher from Medicare for dental work that you may need. And the hearing is a very important thing. So it's not done yet, is the answer.
All right.
So yeah, a lot of information coming out about this since President Biden mentioned this, and more coming out about it, that President Biden is considering giving the elderly an $800, it would be loaded onto a debit card, an $800 debit card to help with medical and dental. We don't know if it's going to be able to be used only for dental or be able to use for other items as well. But as you've seen there directly from President Biden, mentioned that this is one of the items that he wants to have added into the stimulus package here for, we assume it's for people on Medicare. We don't know exactly if you have to be on Medicare Part A, Medicare Part B, Medicare Part C, Medicare Part D, any of them, all of them, any of them. We're going to have to find out those details here. going forward. But Senator Bernie Sanders originally championed this idea and originally was pushing anywhere from a $600 stimulus debit card for Medicare benefits for dental or other procedures. Anywhere from $600 to $1,000. It looks like it's going to land right there in the middle at $800. Again, I'm happy to see them adding in the stimulus items like this here at the last moment. I think it would be better if they were adding it is just as a stimulus check. But alas, the government, they kind of just do what they will. This is kind of where I would tell you to email, tweet, call your representatives and say, hey, we also need a stimulus check in there in addition for adults, which is kind of where we have a lot of groups advocating for this right now. Check this out. Right now, you can see here we have the Senior Citizens Advocacy Group is proposing a $1,400 stimulus check to be added, just like the third stimulus check was $1,400, to be added into this next stimulus package, what we're calling stimulus package number 4, the American Families Plan, to be added into this next stimulus package. This has their petition has gotten over 1 million signatures already. This article is here from yesterday, October 22nd. So literally daily news coming out every single day based on the Senior Citizens Advocacy Group pushing for $1,400 stimulus checks to be added in there for adults into this next stimulus package, this one that they're trying to close out right now. So again, this article is as of yesterday, October 22nd. So they are literally in the news on a daily basis, pretty much every single day. So they are making a lot of news. They're in the media, they're on the news, they're in articles, making a lot of, and I'm sure that Congress is seeing this on a daily basis. So again, I recommend you tweet Senator Bernie Sanders, call Senator Bernie Sanders, Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, Joe Manchin, let them know that stimulus checks need to be added in there as well. And we also have the petition from change.org, which has is for $2,000 per month to every American, has almost 3 million signatures, as you can see here. I don't know if I can zoom this in here a little bit. 2.93 million signatures have signed this on change.org. Yeah, almost 3 million signatures. At 3 million signatures, this petition comes one of the top signed change.org petitions ever. So I will put links for these down below in the description of this video so that you can sign these petitions if you want to. They're completely free to do so. Wait until the end of this video so you can get rid of this, get the rest of the stimulus package update. There's a lot going on here. They're trying to finalize the deal here within the next few days. Remember that these petitions and you're reaching out to Congress and senators and letting them know your thoughts and what you guys want in these packages really do make a difference, because the second stimulus check wasn't even added into the bill until after they actually wrote the bill, and it was added in 6 days before. They took away $160 billion away from states, cities, and counties. They gave them nothing, and they actually ended up giving it to you guys in the form of the second stimulus check, because of your guys' outcry and your guys is saying, hey, we need support. It's more important for us, the people. And it forced them or made them or convinced the Congress and the Senate to do that. So it really does make a difference. And now's the time where they're kind of like adding things in at the last moment. And they do seem to do that from the second stimulus check package and the third stimulus check package. There's a lot going on right now. Check this out.
This morning, the White House already walking back some of President Biden's more off-script moments from his town hall, where he worked to unify Democrats around his still struggling agenda and address the economic headwinds the country's facing, including the pandemic-related supply chain crisis, delaying goods ahead of the holidays. The president saying he'd consider deploying the National Guard to help.
Supply chain issue?
Absolutely, positively, I will do that.
But you're actually talking about having National Guardsmen and women driving trucks?
The answer is yes, if we can't move to increase the number of truckers, which we're in the process of doing.
The White House now saying using the National Guard is up to governors, and they're not actively pursuing it. The president also giving the most extensive details yet about what's in and what's out of his economic plan. At the top of that list, one of Mr. Biden's proposals to increase the corporate tax rate now looks unlikely because of pressure from moderate Senator Kyrsten Sinema, who opposes it.
She says she will not raise a single penny in taxes on the corporate side and or on wealthy people, period. And so that's where it sort of breaks down.
And while the president insisted his plan that initially cost $3.5 trillion but is now closer to $2 trillion will be paid for, he gave no details about how he'll achieve that. The president revealing he's likely scaling back his plan for paid parental leave and tuition-free community college. But perhaps one of the biggest headlines came when the president was pressed on whether he would support lawmakers getting rid of the filibuster, a stalling tactic used to delay or prevent voting on a bill. Losing it would allow legislation to pass more easily in the Senate, where Democrats currently hold a razor-thin majority. On Wednesday, Republicans used the filibuster to block a voting reform bill.
You would entertain the notion of doing away with the filibuster on that one issue? Is that correct?
And maybe more.
That's one that we will be watching closely. Now, the White House also had to clean up some of the president's comments on foreign policy. Mr. Biden said the U.S. would defend Taiwan if it was attacked by China at that town hall. The White House walked that back because those differed from the longstanding policy that the U.S. does not say how it would react if China were to attack Taiwan. The White House saying overnight there is no change in that policy. It's a sign of the sensitive relationship the U.S. has with China.
Yeah, so we got a lot going on here. President Biden mentioned that Senator Joe Manchin and maybe Kyrsten Sinema, they have a lot of haggling and negotiating to do with them on the Medicare provisions, the hearing, dental, and vision. That Joe Manchin might not be in favor of those for benefits for seniors because that it might prevent the solvency of Medicare down the road. But they're giving it funding in this package. So I don't agree with that because again, if you're giving the Medicare funding in the package to pay for these things, I don't personally agree with this. And remember that people pay for Medicare on a monthly basis. Yeah, you can let me know your thoughts on this. I think personally that is one of the biggest things in this package. Two of the biggest things in this package that Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema are fighting tooth and nail are the Medicare benefits for seniors, hearing, dental, and vision, hearing aid coverage, denture coverage, all that stuff, as well as lower the Medicare eligibility age to age 60. That's number one. And number two is the prescription drug pricing, lowering the prices of prescription drugs. That they say that over 60 or about 66%, 2/3 of all adults are on prescriptions, and lowering the cost of that would be basically a stimulus program for 2/3 of all adults, because if you pay for prescriptions, you would be paying less for them. That's been a very especially the prescription drugs, lowering the cost of that has been a very difficult thing to get past because it's just they're fighting the pharmaceutical industry, they're fighting the health insurance industry, they're fighting the dental industry on the Medicare side, health insurance industry. Both of those issues have been very, very difficult to pass. Both the prescription drug industry, former President Donald Trump tried to get this done during his 4 years in tenure being president. It's been done for several different presidents as well. And it's proving to be a very formidable opponent. I would like to see both of those passed. The current plan right now is to pass what they can agree on right now for this stimulus package, which is expected to be somewhere between 1.5 and $2 trillion. And then pass the physical infrastructure package, which has already been passed in the Senate, pretty much immediately after. That's just really a formal vote that's going to pass in the House. Once the stimulus package passes, the physical infrastructure package will be voted on in the House. That'll pass almost for sure. The Democrats can pass that alone just with the Democrats' votes. So that's just waiting to be voted on. They're going to vote on that after the stimulus package passes. Both of those will be passed. Because this stimulus package is now probably going to be roughly half the size of $3.5 trillion, we'll say just 1.7, good, that's pretty much about half of $3.5 trillion. President Biden himself has said what they're going to do is they're going to come back around to try to do another stimulus package after this. And if you've been watching the show for a while, I kind of foreseen this because they have a full 12 months here after this until November of 2022, which is when the House and Senate go up for re-election. So the Democrats have basically have a full 2 years where they have the House and Senate where they're in control of everything until the next midterm election. So they're going to try to pass probably another one or two more packages here in the next 12 months through the reconciliation process, which is, the good old reconciliation process. Where they're going to try to pass more packages, big packages, and have all sorts of things in there where they can pass them with only 50 to 51 votes in the Senate. 50 Democrats vote yes, and then the tiebreaker vote with the 51st vote goes to the Vice President Kamala Harris, where they can bypass the filibuster, which is that rule where they need 60 votes. So they're going to basically try to get everything they can agree on here, which again, they're trying to finalize what they can even agree on right now. And they're literally changing by the hour here. So who knows what they agree on? They don't even know what they agree on. They're trying to figure out what they can agree on here as the hours go by. Really, it's kind of what does Joe Manchin agree on, and what does Kirsten Sinema agree on? And then we have the Bernie Sanders kind of combating them, saying, no, we need more. No, we need to have this added. No, we need to have that added. Hopefully we have a stimulus check added for adults. Remember that the child tax credits, which are basically stimulus checks for children, $250 to $300 per month, those were originally added from the third stimulus check package. Those are going to end on December 15th. Those are going to end on December 15th. That'll be the last monthly payment unless they can pass this package basically by then, which it seems they're going to try to close this here within the next few days, short of Joe Manchin saying that he's going to do something drastic here or something along those lines. So they do want to extend those monthly payments for children called the child tax credits for one more year, which is, it's kind of disappointing if you have children, and 65 million children, because they were originally talking for several more years. But I guess probably the current plan here is to extend them for one more year, and then in one of these other packages coming afterwards, probably go to extend them for another year or another 2 years, something down the line, which honestly kind of makes sense if you're trying to fit different things in different packages. The problem is that you never know what's going to happen in upcoming packages. So, it's a tough situation. We've seen so many things get cut from this package. Who knows what will happen in the next packages? So it's just, who knows what will happen in the future, right? So the other thing is Joe Manchin has these income demands where he wanted to put a $60,000 income threshold, which, as you can see here, Joe Manchin's child tax credit changes could prevent more than 37 million children from getting aid, from getting these monthly checks. And that was just with the $60,000 income threshold. And remember, that's for a married couple. So that's for families. So if the family's married, say a mother and a father, that means that they can only make $30,000 or less each. So $29,999 would be the maximum each, which is well below the average salary, or else they wouldn't qualify for it based on Joe Manchin's demands. And that alone would cut out 37 million children from getting it. And he has the earned income requirement where you basically have to have a job. In addition, that wasn't even figured into this study. The other demand that Joe Manchin wants is that you have to have a job. You have to have earned income. So if you're a stay-at-home mom, you wouldn't qualify if Joe Manchin got his way. If you're a grandma or grandpa that claims the children and you raise the children and you get the child tax credits for the child, you wouldn't get them anymore. The child wouldn't get them because Social Security doesn't count as earned income. Neither does SSI, SSDI, stay-at-home moms, disability, anything like that. Also, if you're married filing jointly, and just as an example, if your partner works but you don't, so as an example, if the mom doesn't work and the father goes to work full time, that probably wouldn't count depending on how it actually wording and stuff. But married filing jointly, they would probably, or potentially, maybe I should say, both have to work. So that could literally, that income requirement could also exclude millions more people, maybe even tens of millions of more people. And remember, the child tax credits only go out to 65 million children, and the $60,000 income threshold based on that study already would have excluded 37 million children. So just as Joe Manchin's demands, he's the only Democratic senator demanding these things. He literally wants to take food out of children's mouths. Even my wife said in the background, ooh. She said, that ain't a good look. I said, and even I said, I wouldn't want to be the guy taking money out of children's mouths. And I mean, you got to think there's a lot of children living in poverty. They've literally done studies that these child tax credit payments, they're not a lot of money. I mean, they're $250 to $300 per month per child. I mean, that's not going to make anybody rich, right? But for some children, that's enough to put food on the table, put a roof over their head. I mean, not pay your whole rent, but help you pay rent, right? Buy clothing. Like, this is like stuff that like a lot of people really, really need, right? And Joe Manchin literally wants to take this away from people. And of course, he's worth over $8 million. So he's not worried about these type of things, right? Meanwhile, we have this article here from the Financial Times. The Democrats that are opposed to Biden's spending bill raise record amounts of funds. Yeah, and guess who they are? Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin took in big hauls from the energy, pharmaceutical industries, and the financial service industries. Yeah, imagine that. Yeah, my wife says something smells. Says the latest Federal Election Commission's filings out this weekend shows the two senators who are not up for re-election until 2024 raised more money in the 3 months to end September than they had in any other quarter in a non-election year. Manchin raked in nearly $1.6 million in the third quarter, compared to $1.5 million in the second quarter of this year, and just over $175,000 in the first. So look at how much money these guys are raising. So, yeah, somebody's padding their pockets very dramatically. Kyrsten Sinema raised over $1.1 million in the third quarter, narrowly edging out her haul in the second. In the first quarter, she brought in just over $375,000. Manchin ended the quarter with $5.4 million cash on hand, while Sinema had $4.5 million in the bank. Relatively large sums of money for politicians who will not need to face voters for another 3 years. The latest filings show that Manchin's biggest donors in the third quarter include Vicky Holub, president and chief executive of Occidental Petroleum, the major oil company; Albert Huddleston, the founder and chief executive of Atheneum Energy, another big oil and gas firm; and Will Vanham, the chief executive of Quantum Energy Partner, a private equity firm focused on the energy industry. Kirsten Sinema received large donations from healthcare and pharmaceutical industry bosses in the third quarter, including Bristol Myers Squibb chair and chief executive Giovanni Cafrolio, Eli Lilly chief executive David Ricks, and Kabir Nath, chief executive of Ostcuria. Yeah, so if it makes you kind of wonder why they are the only two Democratic senators against these plans, well, I'm here kind of bringing you guys the truth on probably what the reality of it is. But even with that aside, this is kind of how politics is. They're probably going to pass this package. They're getting really close. The question is going to be what's in this package and what's going to be in the next package and what is ultimately going to be done. Is it going to be enough for the American people? Yeah, I think I guess we're going to have to see here. So again, as I said, email your representatives, call your representatives, tweet your representatives. You know, I will keep you up to date here. So the one thing is for sure is they're getting very, very close. We're in the final days. And I'll put the links to those petitions down below. Senator Bernie Sanders is one of the guys to really tweet, email, call right now. He's one of the guys that'll really stand up for you guys and try to get as much in this package. Remember, he was literally face-to-face arguing with Senator Joe Manchin right now. So I'll keep you up to date. Remember, new videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure to subscribe down below. I'm here advocating for you guys as well. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. So, yeah. You can click here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And here is how there's a big Social Security raise coming out and possibly even more in the future, maybe even more in one of these next upcoming stimulus packages. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.